Hello everybody. Today we're going to go into Excel and I'm going to show you a bunch of different functions that you can use related to date and time and how to use them properly. The first and the most simple thing that you should know as far as date and time functions is the equals today function. So if you go into a blank cell, hover over it and then double click so that you get the cursor to appear and type in equals today with an open and close parentheses. We're going to go ahead and we're going to click enter, and you can see when we do that it returns the current date. Super similar to that is the equals now function. We're going to go into the cell below the same way, double click in and type equals now with an open and close parentheses, click enter again, and you can see that it returned almost the same value, but it gave us a time in addition to just the date. Now that might seem a little bit pointless on the surface to know because you've got a calendar, right, and you can see what today's date is really easily. But an example of where this is actually useful is if you have a spreadsheet with a due date on it. So what you could do if you have a spreadsheet like this, it's got a number of assignments and it's got the due date for each assignment, is you could go in and I'm going to make a column that is today. And I'm going to type in, similar to before, equals today with an open and close parentheses. I'm going to click enter, and then I'm going to drag this down just so that today appears in every single cell in the spreadsheet. Now from here, what I ultimately want to figure out is if something is overdue or not. So I'm going to make a new column right next to it. I'm going to say overdue question mark. And in order to figure out if it's overdue or not, I'm going to use an if function. So I'm going to type equals if open parentheses, and then I'm going to say if today is greater than the due date, we're going to call it overdue. So in order to do that, I've got if open parentheses, I'm going to click on C3, which is today. I'm going to do greater than sign, and then I'm going to click on the due date, which is B3. From there, I'm going to type a comma, and then it's asking me what should it say if it's true. And in quotations, I'm going to write overdue. I'm going to do a comma again, and then it's going to ask me what to say if the condition is false. And I'm going to say not overdue, and I'm going to put that in quotes again. Once I'm done, I'm going to close the parentheses. I'm going to click enter, and you can see now that it is said that assignment 1 is overdue. And in order to get this to work on all the other cells, I just need to highlight or click on the cell that I just wrote the if functions in. I'm going to grab the bottom right corner when it turns to a T. I'm going to drag it down, release my cursor, and you can see now we've got a practical reason of why the today function is actually useful, because it's looking at, when I log into the spreadsheet, the current date, and this will update automatically, so that I can see from a distance if something's overdue or not. Moving on to a new function, we've got the list of due dates still, and let's just say that we want to determine what day of the week it falls on, right? Is 8/15 a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so forth? So I'm going to make a new column and I'm going to say, what day is it? And next to the first due date, I'm going to type in equals weekday with an open parentheses. Now once I have the parentheses open, I'm going to click on the cell that I'm wondering what day it is. So in this instance it's B3, and then from here I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close it. I'm going to click enter, and you can see that Excel has returned a 2. And what that means is that it's the second day of the week, so 2 is going to be Monday. I can drag down the same way that I just dragged down the formula in the last example. And you can see that it gives me a number for each date that's in my spreadsheet. And like I said earlier, each number corresponds with a different day of the week. So Sunday would be 1, Monday would be 2, and then so on. For the next function, I switched up the data a little bit. I just added a column with the start date, or the date that the assignment was given, and then I kept the due dates the same. Because the next question that I'm going to show you how to answer is how to determine the number of days between two dates on your spreadsheet. So in this column, right next to the due date, I'm going to label it days between. And it's a super straightforward function. All you need to do is type in equals days, open up your parentheses, And then you can see Excel is asking you for two things, the end date and then the start date. So for the end date, I'm going to click the due date, which is now C3. Once I have that, I'm going to type a comma, and then I'm going to click on the start date, which is B3 in this example. Once I have both the start date and the end date, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to click enter. And you can see that it's returned a value of 45, which means that there's 45 days in between the start date, which was July 1st, and the due date, which was August 15th. Just for fun, I'm going to drag down this formula again, same as before. And you can see super easily that the fourth assignment has got the tightest timeline. It's only got 9 days between when it was given out and when the due date is. The next thing that I want to talk us through is how to extract information from a date that you might have in your spreadsheet. And what I mean by that is there might be times in your career or whenever you're working in Excel that you have a date here, like 8/15/22, and for some reason you might want to just pull just the 8 from it, just to be able to either put it on a graph or maybe just filter easier. So there's a way that you can go through dates that you have in your spreadsheet and get each month, day, or year out and kind of like extract it in a way. So in order to show you how to do that, I'm going to make 3 columns next to the due date. I'm going to call it day, month, and then year. Now in order to get the day, I'm going to double click into the cell, type equals day, open the parentheses, and then I just need to click on the date that I want to extract from. Close the parentheses, and then I just need to click enter. And you can see that it's taken the 15 because it's the 15th day of the month here. I'm going to drag down my formula so that it's pulling the day from each date here. And month and year is super similar also. So the function for month is, no surprise to anybody, equals month. And then the same as before, all you need to do is click on the date and close the parentheses and then click enter again. And you can see here when I drag down, of course, these are all in August. Last, I bet you that this is a surprise to absolutely nobody. You can do equals year with an open parentheses, click it, and then drag it down. And like I said earlier, if I had a situation where I had maybe dates with a bigger variety and I wanted to filter just by year, or maybe I just wanted to see what the sales were on just the 15th day of every month for some reason, now I could go into my data, I could do the filter button, and I would be able to filter really efficiently and say, hey, just 15th, and then it would show me the data just for that. The last thing that I want to go through here is if the opposite is true. And let's just say that you've got these random values and you want to put them together into a date, right? You don't have a cohesive one available to you. So in order to show that, I'm just going to get rid of column B here. I'm just going to highlight it and then I'm going to delete. And then I'm going to make a new column over in E and I'm going to say date. So in order to take the different pieces that you have in your spreadsheet and combine them into one cohesive date, you are going to use the equals date function. So type in equals date, open up your parentheses, and then it's super straightforward and self-explanatory. You can see that it asks for the year, the month, and then the day. So all I need to do is click on these different values in my spreadsheet that correspond with each one that it's asking for. So for year, I'm going to click on D3, comma, once I've got that entered, I'm going to click on the month cell, comma, and then the day cell. Once I have all of that, I'm going to close the parentheses and then I'm going to click on enter. And you can see that the date has returned. I'm going to drag my formula down just like before, and now I've got the dates back. Thank you for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. I'm a new channel and just getting started, so every view really helps me out. If you have any questions related to date, time, or anything else in Excel, make sure to put a comment down below and I'll be able to help where I can. If not, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this. Thanks again.